Preface and Introductory of Oscar Wilde and Myself. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Rob Marland. Oscar Wilde and Myself by Lord Alfred Douglas. Preface. The manuscript of this book was completed by me and handed over to the publishers as long ago as last July. Certain persons thereupon deemed it advisable to apply to the court for an injunction restraining me from including in my book any of the letters from Oscar Wilde which were in my possession, and they further applied for an injunction restraining me from quoting from the unpublished portion of the De Profundis manuscript, which is now sealed up at the British Museum, and which was used against me in open court as part of the justification in the defence to a libel action brought by me in April 1913. The application for these injunctions was made in the Vacation Court before Mr. Justice Astbury, the most recent recruit to the judicial bench. It was immediately granted, and though I was advised by counsel to appeal against the decision, I thought it better to accept it, at any rate for the moment. Consequently, all the copious extracts I was intending to publish from the De Profundis, which extracts had already been reproduced in all the newspapers at the hearing of the action of Douglas versus Ransome and the Times Book Club, have been entirely removed. The same applies to those letters of Wilde's which I had originally included in my book. As far as the letters are concerned, the omission does not very much affect the book. The letters were included not to make points against my opponents, but merely as interesting curiosities. The enforced omission of the extracts from the unpublished De Profundis has, on the other hand, been an undoubted handicap to me. A considerable portion of this book is devoted to a reply to the violently mendacious attacks made upon me and upon my family by Wilde in that unpublished portion of the De Profundis which has been accepted by the authorities of the British Museum from the literary executor of the late author. Obviously, it is very difficult to reply to an attack which one is unable to quote, and I can only say that I have met the difficulty as best I could, and that at a future date I look forward to being able to deal with the whole matter even more completely and finally. In this connection, I refer my readers to the chapter in this book entitled A Challenge to Mr. Ross. Alfred Bruce Douglas, Boulogne-sur-Mer, April 1914. Introductory. Out of little things there may come a peck of troubles. I suppose that my first meeting with Oscar Wilde was to me, at that time, a little thing. By this I do not mean that I was other than glad to meet a man of Wilde's culture and attainments, but I was not particularly impressed by him at first, and if I had never set eyes on him, I should certainly have lost nothing. As fate arranges matters, our acquaintance has brought the gravest disasters, not only upon myself, but upon those nearest and dearest to me. The purpose of the present book is not to complain of what had happened, or to rail against Oscar Wilde, who for years was my close friend, and who, at one time in our friendship, held me fascinated by what I conceived to be his genius. That he had what passed for genius nobody will, I think, nowadays dispute, though it used to be the fashion to pooh-pooh him for a mere poser and decadent. If our friendship had remained a private friendship, like many other of Wilde's friendships, instead of being bruited abroad from every housetop, this book would never have been written. From the moment Wilde's name became notorious, however, people have been careful to link our names together, and even more careful to link them together in scandalous ways. There are many persons now alive who were friends with Wilde,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?